Okay, so this Monday we were watching the president meeting with his jobs council in North Carolina today when, let's just say, a light bulb went off. No, not one of those old incandescent ones, the kind they used to make in this country. No, these are these new energy efficient ones, the kind made by a North Carolina company whose plant the president toured today. The White House calling it a true American success story. But is it? We enlighten, you decide. Welcome, everybody. I'm Neil Cavuto, and it is called Cree LED lighting, and it got nearly $52 million in stimulus. While it did add some jobs over here, is it actually adding even more jobs over there, specifically in China, where more than half of its 5,000 workers now reside? Did we just essentially help fund this? Cato's Dan Mitchell says, yeah, talk about being dim bulbs. Dan, now, we called Cree for an interview. They declined. But if this is so, well, we did get some American jobs out of this. It was a bit of a Faustian pact, was it not?
This is what I call the perfect storm of bad government policies. We have phony stimulus, we have the green energy scam, and we have the government cramming down our throats these awful, toxic light bulbs that the American people don't want. And somehow we've wrapped that all up in a pretty little box in order to help Chinese production.
All right, now the administration will argue that it's helped our production and that these bulbs are more efficient. I don't know if they fit in lamps anymore. That was a big issue with them. But bottom line, they're better than they were, and folks like you are just being too negative. What do you say?
Well, maybe I am just a Cassandra of doom and gloom, but I know that when I use those bulbs at home, they don't work as well. Like many Americans, I'm stocking up on the old light bulbs because I like the light better. I don't want a bunch of bureaucrats and politicians telling me what kind of bulb to use.
Be careful, Dan. That could be an illegal act, and we've got you on tape saying you're doing that.
Well, I guess I have to take my chances in the fight for freedom. But the thing that we really should focus on is that money is fungible. And if we're giving handouts to this company in North Carolina, but this company in North Carolina also has operations in China, and I say this as a complete free trader, but I don't believe in trade where the government has its thumb on the scale. I don't want them helping production in China any more than I want them helping production in the U.S. I want the government out of the way. I want consumers deciding what should be bought and at what price.
Now, if the company seems to be succeeding, whether half of those jobs are coming abroad or not, they might come back at you, Dan, and say, well, who cares? I mean, it's succeeding.
Well, that's where we get into the old so-called stimulus argument, right, where the government, yeah, they can take lots and lots of money, and they can say, look at these 58 jobs we created. But what the politicians never want us to do, and this is the great flaw of Keynesian economics, is they don't want us to realize, well, the $52 million that we gave to Cree, if that $52 million had been left in the productive sector of the economy, if the government hadn't taxed and borrowed it, that $52 million probably would have created a lot more jobs if it hadn't been laundered through the corrupt political process in the first place. And you better believe that the companies that are benefiting from these handouts are the ones that have the lobbyists in Washington, the ones that have the campaign contribution mechanisms set up. This is a way for the political class and the lobbyists and the insiders to get rich. But again, what about the American taxpayer and consumers? We're paying for that corruption, and we're stuck with light bulbs we don't want. That's the worst of all worlds.
All right. Well, Dan, we have you on record here, scarfing up these old bulbs.
Take me away.
All right, away. We'll do it now. Dan, thank you very much. Dan Mitchell in Washington.